All right, we're back for 68 kilograms, and Kennedy Blades a big favorite, but Brooklyn Hayes soaking in this moment.
What an entrance for Brooklyn Hayes. I love that. Look at the energy.
She's ready to go and underway in the red and gold. Kennedy Blades in the blue. It's Brooklyn Hayes. Kennedy Blades, Olympic silver medalist a year ago, up at 76 kilos, now back down at 68, where she made the Olympic trials finals back in 2021. Brooklyn Hayes, relative newcomer to wrestling. I believe started maybe midway through high school, but now look at her. Here she is in Final X.
Amazing. These girls are long. I'm like, what would it be like to be that tall?
I can't tell you. Hayes with the underhook and looked for a headlock, but couldn't quite get the lock. And Kennedy Blades going to be warned for passivity first. Well deserved. Hayes taking ground.
Good start for Hayes.
Kennedy Blades has about as many ways to score as anyone, including suplex. She made that very famous in the Olympics.
100%. She is one of the few wrestlers, I'd say, on the women's side that knows she has a 5-point move in her arsenal. I don't have that in my arsenal.
Yeah, that 5-pointer she hit in Paris was just iconic.
And she does it often and consistently. It's amazing.
Hayes now with that underhook, but Blades able to clear it. Good head position. And Kennedy Blades going to go on the activity clock.
I think Brooklyn's length is usually an asset for her in her matches, but Kennedy is just as long, if not longer.
Yeah, and looking at what these wrestlers do well, a lot of things Brooklyn Hayes does well, or the advantages she has, Kennedy Blades has just to a higher degree.
Agree, yep.
Hayes, though, looking for double unders and marching forward.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness. Kennedy Blades gets the step out with 2 seconds left on the activity clock, so not only avoids giving up the point, but gets one of her own.
Great work on the edge from Kennedy.
It's like maybe an eye poke.
Those do not feel good, I'm telling you.
Hawkeye Wrestling Club fans, lots to cheer for here. Kennedy Blades and Spencer Lee on the mat at the same time. Brooklyn Hayes, nice job with that knee pick. She's going to get the step out.
And I think that's the first point Brooklyn has scored on Kennedy in their match history. So this is exciting. All these matches have been crazy so far.
Absolutely. The last time these two met was at the U20 World Team Trials back in 2023, and now Kennedy Blades gets back to the kind of knee pick situation of her own, and 1 point Hayes. They're going to say Blades went out first, so Brooklyn Hayes 2-1 lead. That last meeting, though, in 2023, it was a 10-0 tech for Blades.
Yep, Kennedy was working really hard on top and displayed just an array of attacks. As we know, she has so many in her toolbox.
Hayes clearly made a lot of improvements since then.
And I wonder how much it helps, again, having Sarah. And Coach Izzy is one of the coaches that I had during a lot of my career. He's really excellent at game planning as well.
I'll do it for the first period. And Hayes takes period 1. I don't know that a lot of people saw that coming.
I did not see that coming. Kennedy looks like she's having a bit of trouble with her eye there. Hopefully that clears up for her throughout the match.
Yeah, Izzy. Well, we got Izzy's in each corner.
True.
At this moment, but
one Russian, one not Russian.
Yeah. Kennedy Blades gonna have to make some adjustments. Really, just seems like committing to her attacks would be one thing that we haven't really seen yet.
Agree, and I think that's where she's shined in the past. I mean, she just blows through people and continues wrestling through positions. So far, she's having trouble with that.
Blades picking up her footwork, and this is a good start to the period. Hayes doing a really good job digging those ties, closing space. Nice attack. Now Blades gets to that leg. And there's going to be one on the step out. So Kennedy Blades regains the lead on criteria 2-2.
Good on Brooklyn to only give up a step out there and not make any mistake on the edge where you end up giving up more points.
Absolutely. Blades was locked on that leg, and
High.
Not a good place for most people to be, but just giving up the one, that's a win.
I think Brooklyn's initial, another short offense attempt, and Kennedy's going to score 2 here.
And that's why I think Kennedy Blades is going to be better off if she creates more wrestling positions, because, you know, that wasn't until the second re-attack that she really got in there and blew through Brooklyn Hayes. And I think that's going to happen more often when Kennedy Blades just initiates those wrestling exchanges.
Definitely. I think Kennedy is also better at a bit more distance, so a wrist tie and an inside tie, and Brooklyn's doing better when she can keep herself in closer ties, digging underhooks. As you can see there, Kennedy's keeping the post and keeping her length to her advantage, staying nice and distant from Brooklyn Hayes.
Hayes continues to take ground. Minute 45 to go. Nice double leg. It's going to be 4.
Yeah, Brooklyn went head pin, or Brooklyn's giving a little giggle because she went, she tried to body lock her way through and gave up 4.
She kind of realized she made a mistake, and like, I mean, man, that's probably an asset as an athlete, that you can just kind of laugh at it and hopefully get right back to your game plan, but she did sort of smile over to the corner.
What a funny person. She put her hand over her mouth, just little oopsies.
8-2. Underhook, Hayes.
And this is where I think Brooklyn's doing her best work, from these deep underhooks.
And that's going to be another point for Hayes.
Close to 2 points, and there's 2 offered, 2 confirmed. Wow. If I were Brooklyn Hayes, I would go back to that underhook over and over.
Just keep pressuring Blades to the edge, and she's kind of caught Kennedy Blades kind of digging her heels in, trying to avoid getting up the step out, and I think that's exactly right. I think you're exactly right. That's where she needs to go back to.
And you only have a minute left. Just keep going to the position that's working for you.
At a bare minimum, this is going to encourage Brooklyn Hayes going into match 2, but you know, she still has an opportunity here. 48 to go.
Close to the edge here. Another shot from Kennedy.
A desperation shot to avoid giving up the step out. Now Hayes, she's got to figure out a way to score these points.
A little bit between decisions here. I'd like to see her just catch ankle, pull up on the elbow, and cut corner.
Oh, and now Kennedy Blades going to get the big 2-pointer. Hayes got her chest back down to the mat, so she didn't give up the 4. I thought it was going to be 4 initially, but Hayes did a good job turning back towards the mat.
15 seconds to go. Hayes would need something huge. Pin, really.
Not much time left. There's a little shot from Blades and re-attack.
A 4-point and a turn would do it, but Kennedy's going to close this one out.
10-4, Kennedy Blades wins match 1, and Brooklyn Hayes seems relatively pleased with herself, and she's got some things to work on, but not discouraged.
Not at all. Brooklyn Hayes must have some of the best energy in wrestling, in all of wrestling.
If you haven't had a chance to listen to Brooklyn Hayes post-match interviews, just go ahead and do it. Most people don't listen to those unless you're like friends or family, but hers are great. Great entertainment. Go
Agree.
listen. We'll get a look at some of the action from that match. I was really impressed with Brooklyn Hayes' strategy, but man,